Hi everyone, I'm Lorena, and welcome to Sacred Journeys Conversations for the Soul. This series is a heartfelt space to explore healing, the Akashic Records, family constellations, and the many paths that guide us back to wholeness and to our true aligned selves. Each episode, I sit down with beautiful souls, including clients, healers, channels, and friends, to share stories, wisdom, and tools for growth and expansion. My intention is for you to feel seen, inspired, and supported as you walk your own sacred journey. So settle in, open your heart, and let's step together into these conversations for the soul. Hello. Hi, Ashley. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. So this is a series I've been trying to start for, I want to say probably over a year.
Oh,
I've
wow.
been talking about this like on the podcast, on the Patreon. I'm pretty sure on my Instagram.
At
And
least you're
I
consistent.
Yeah, and then we were having a chat the other day because we chat on WhatsApp and we send audio notes and all that.
Yeah.
And um, I was like, why don't I just start with you? Because we had talked about, doing a
Yeah.
video together and kind of recording and talking about, this series to me is always like just a conversation between two friends or two people or two colleagues. And the idea is for us to just be open and vulnerable and um
Love it.
just
Love
talk
it.
about whatever, right? Like I want this to be
Yes.
like a free space, right? Like that kind of energy. So obviously the idea today, we have a couple ideas and we're probably gonna do a couple of videos, but today the idea was to talk more about how our paths kind of led us to meet, obviously, because I think that that has a lot to do with us, the
Sure.
things we chat about and where we are today, but
Mhm.
also how we went on this path of healing and that led us to become our own healers, our own channels, and just yeah, just and that I feel like we know each other. We have never met in person.
It's
It's
wild. It's
insane.
wild.
It's
Feels like
so
we have.
crazy. I mean, I say I haven't, but I'm like, yeah, I have.
Yeah, right?
I have. It's so weird. Obviously there's a soul connection here, and I think there's a lot of things that we resonate and vibrate and go through, and we feel similar, even though we talk a lot about astrology as well together, which is really interesting,
Yeah,
and
I
how
love
we
that.
have not the same chart because we don't have the same chart at
We
all.
have complementary
We
charts.
have
It's wild.
complementary charts, right?
Yeah, it's
Which
so
I
wild.
love. So let's
Yeah.
start with you. Let's start with kind of your path, who you are, maybe give a little intro and yeah. And obviously you kind of do channeling like I do, right? Like you do your Akashic Records
Yeah.
and you learn through my sister Lou and I.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's where you first started, but maybe kind of give a little background.
Yeah. Okay. Man, I feel like, when you go to an interview and they're like, tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm like, oh, I know how to do it. But then every time I'm like,
Where do I
I'm
start?
actually, yeah, like, what do you want to know? So I'm an Akashic Records reader and a channeler. I don't even like saying psychic anymore because I feel like it's just, I'm a channel.
Yeah.
Um, I, and I don't, I Man, we're already getting into it. I feel like I don't like to call myself a healer because I feel like everybody does their own healing, but I like to support and help people understand how to not heal themselves, but how to open up to healing, I guess, because everybody heals differently. And yeah, I think I like to say that I help people to see the hidden stuff that they're not aware of and the things that they're feeling that they can't put words to. And then I help them to shift their energy so that they can kind of rewire that energy and then create a life that they actually want instead of just being pulled along by the reality that they feel like they're stuck in.
I love
Way
that.
better. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. So you do that through Akashic Records, through do because we've done tarot readings together, right?
Yeah, so I use different tools based on what the person's energy kind of feels like it's needing at the time because each tool does something a little bit different. And sometimes I layer them. But some of my main ones are tarot because I can get so detailed.
Mm.
Like when I channel, when I channel, sometimes it's super detailed. but sometimes it's more broad. And sometimes my own subconscious stuff can get in the way of me getting the full message. And so tarot helps me to really dig in and also get past any resistance that I have that might be preventing me from getting as deep as the other person is able to, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, we did a little tarot reading yesterday. It
You
was
did.
really good.
So fun.
It was kind of like, you want me to, I got the deck here. I was like, yeah, do it.
Yes,
And it
I was
was
like, I
so
can
good.
feel some undercurrents here. I was like, let me just check on the energy if you're okay with it. So fun.
It was good because you gave me so many. I feel like I need to just transcribe the whole thing because it's just obviously an audio. We were kind
Yeah.
of going back and forth, but I feel like I need to transcribe it because there were so many gems in that. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to put that as a mantra. I have at the moment I have two little post-its with, I don't know if they're mantras, but they're just reminders, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I think there's a few that I got from you, but I didn't write them down, so I have to go back. But
Ah, yeah.
yeah, we've done a few tarot readings, and I think they've been really good because you mix it up with channeling, and I think that's really interesting when people can mix up tools, which
Yeah.
I also very much, not necessarily in one session, but that I can mix and match things, and I kind of adapt
Yeah.
things to people and what they need, and I think that's we have to be a little bit more flexible with this kind of help and assistance and accompanying people, and I love
Yeah.
that you do that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, you actually did that with me. We had a session one time because I love all your sessions. Oh my God. So good. They're all
Vice
they're all
versa.
healing, but they're like different. It's so wild. It's so great. But you did an Akashic counseling session for me, I think. And during that session, I was dealing with like mother wound stuff, and just my relationship with my mom was very heavy.
Mm.
So loving, but so heavy, which was very confusing for me. And you did some constellation work in the Akashic counseling container and like had
That's
me
right.
use a piece of paper, and like it was so cool and it was so impactful the way you blended the two tools. Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, I'm
really
doing
cool.
it
I
even
love,
more now. I'm doing it even more now because obviously when you learn a tool, depending on your teacher, right? And this is something I was talking, I think, to you about the other day.
ooh, yeah.
We have a lot of conversations now that I'm realizing it.
Yeah.
I
We
was
talked
thinking
about
how when I did my family constellations training, which was almost like 2 years, between a break in between and everything.
that. Wow,
And I remember the teacher saying, like, no, you can't mix Akashic records and family constellations. I was like,
that's weird.
that doesn't feel right to me. And I got that
Limiting.
stuck in my head. And I was like,
Oh no.
And the other day I just started opening my records and it helps me almost become, not that I'm going to channel, right? It helps me connect to the
Yeah.
field, to the energy in a better
Yeah.
way. And it helps almost like, because when I open my records, I feel calm. I feel centered. I feel in the moment, right? The
Yeah.
vibration lifts, but it doesn't mean that I have to channel.
Yeah.
When I open somebody else's, yes, it feels like information starts flowing, especially if they're asking questions or we're talking. So when I
Yeah.
open my own, it's very different. So I didn't, I never, it never really
Same.
clicked for me. I was like, wait, this could really work for me. And it did. And it made me feel more present and more, I want to say more aligned with kind of reading the energy because it's still energy you're working with in a family
Yeah.
constellation. But going back to what you're saying, because we've worked a lot with your mother, but also I met your mother on
Yeah, you
Zoom.
did.
And that almost makes me emotional. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember meeting her and connecting with her. And then I think that kind of maybe helped us also connect when everything
Yeah.
happened, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
You were kind of already in the loop.
yeah, I kind of understood her energy, understand what you were going through because I'd done readings for you. And obviously I don't mix those in the readings because I'm focused on the energy of the person, but
Yeah.
um yeah, it's kind of hard not to make friends through this work, right? Like I have a few
Yeah,
people,
'cause
yourself included,
you keep
that
connecting.
yeah, I think especially you were saying something yesterday that really resonated for me. I have a lot of Taurus energy, but I also have a Scorpio rising and I have a few energies in Scorpio. And it's like this internal battle of how much do I share and how much do I open up and
Yeah.
how much do I keep, and I think the podcast has been a really good and hopefully the series as well can be a place where I can just open up more. I do that a lot on the
Yeah.
Patreon where I'm
Yeah, it's in
very raw. I mean,
private.
I cried the other day on my Patreon. I was like,
Oh my
guys, I'm
God,
getting
I need to
emotional.
bubble up. I love that.
Oh,
Ah,
it's eclipse season, man. It's like Crazy.
Not a joke.
Yeah, it's never a joke for I always feel it. But you're saying, what were you saying? Oh my gosh, I lost track. I was thinking about the Patreon.
We were
Oh
talking about
yes, it's opening up in this almost
yes,
like, right? And I think there's space for both, right? That you can keep some things to yourself, but that it's nice to have somebody that you can open up to and be really vulnerable and be yourself, right? And I think that's
yeah,
where I think we clicked because we were just really open and we're like, you know what? We're
yeah,
both healing, but we're both doing our work, but we're also helping people and let's support each other,
yeah,
right? And I think
yeah.
that's wonderful. And I think our paths really do um we have a lot of coincidences.
They're like intertwined, like they're very parallel. It's yeah. So I want to talk about that
Let's
a
talk
little
about
bit.
that. Yeah.
It blows my mind. Okay, so I found you through Udemy, you and Lucia, the Soul Tribe
This will try. Yeah.
had, yeah, that's the brand
Yeah.
together. You guys had an i- introduction to Akashic Records or like Akashic Records level 1 course on there. And so my mom and I were always best friends. I talked to her every single day of my life when I went to college. And I grew up overseas. So when I went to college, she was still in Japan or Italy. And so I went through a divorce, and then my mom and I had to live together because I was homeless. I had nothing. I had no car. I couldn't get a job. My business fell apart my whole life. And I've noticed this is a pattern for me. I go through very deep transformations over and over and over. It's my path. And it's cool. I'm cool with it now because I understand how to work with it. And so my mom and I had a falling out because she had had a few strokes and she was going through brain stuff. I was deeply depressed. I had gone through a divorce and also going through depression and anxiety. I wasn't eating a lot. I'd lost a lot of weight, but I was still working out all the time. And so when we had this falling out, my mom went on it triggered a spiritual journey for her because she had been so into politics and Trump and all the things and was obsessed. And I couldn't stand it. I didn't want to hear about politics. And so when we had the falling out, we stopped talking for 6 months. And it was the first time in my life that hadn't spoken to my mom every single day through an
Wow.
email or something. And when she contacted me because I put the ball in her court and it was a very emotional thing. And so she contacted me and she was like, "Hey, I'm doing this thing. I was wondering if you could be a guinea pig for me. It's called the Akashic Records." I had never heard about the Akashic Records. This is the end of 2019, right before COVID hit.
Wow.
And so she did a reading for me, and then we talked on the phone, and that was what got us to talk on the phone. And we talked for 3 hours straight after not speaking for 6 months. And she told me all about myself. She basically had learned how to do soul realignments, which are soul realignment Akashic Records readings are a little more structured, a lot
Mm.
more structured. There's like a whole like outline that you go through for blocks and lives and different frequencies. And there are other Akashic Records readings, which is what I learned how to do from you and Lucia, which is you go into the Akashic Records and then you open free channel,
Yeah.
which is more challenging than the the soul realignment way
Is
because
it?
you don't have any. You're just pulling out of thin air. Soul realignment, you have guidelines and like, oh, do this and ask this and ask this. So when my mom did that for me, I didn't really care about the Akashic Records, but I was like, oh my God, like the way that she was telling me about my soul and my gifts and where I came from and frequency and my white lights and my blue lights and my guides and past lifetimes, it all resonated so much. I was just like, what? How do you? And
Wow.
she's my mom. She knows me, but I was like, this isn't the kind of stuff you just know about somebody. And everything she said, I was like full body goosebumps, which I didn't understand at the time. And so she spent the next 6 months of 2020 trying to get me on the spiritual train, and I was just not having it because she kept talking to me about kids in tunnels and rich people feeding off of the children's life essence, and I was like, "Where are you getting your information?" But she also turned me on to Gaia, the spiritual network. It's kind of like spiritual
My
Netflix.
sister loves it.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
Yeah.
And so I just started, she gave me a few recommendations. I started watching that. And finally, she introduced me to everything. My mom, I'm pretty sure we had a soul contract and she was supposed to wake my butt up because she was relentless. she introduced me to crystals and pendulums, and I started meditating, and that's when I started astral traveling without realizing it and connecting, and all of my clear senses turned on 100%. And I was hearing spirits yelling at me and whispering at me from the foot of my bed and screaming at me. Like it was so loud all the time and so scary. And then I started just channeling all the time. I would be driving, like I was
Mhm.
driving on a road trip to visit my mom, and I suddenly would hear a man's voice in my head. And
Oh, wow.
I'm not schizophrenic. I'm not diagnosed with any of the things, which I think there's some nuances around that. But
Yep.
it was the reason that I hear the different voices was kind of part of my awakening and initiation in helping me to be like, oh, this is not my thought. Like I am connecting with another energy. And that was explained to me like years later when that happened again with a British man. Like it's
Yep.
and it's purposeful because I'm not a British man. So of course that is not what I'm going to sound like if it's me in my head. And from there, I just dove into watching Ruben Langdon on Gaia, anything with ETs. I've always believed in ETs and supernatural stuff. My mom has always been very clairvoyant. She has prophetic dreams. She used to see ghosts all the time. And so I grew up hearing about all of that stuff. So I believed, deeply believed in everything. I believed everything was possible. People could levitate. I used to think I could walk through the TV and get into there and hang out with the characters.
Oh my God, I love it.
Um, so my mom got, it's weird every time I talk about this, but I feel like she got a bit jealous because she started her spiritual journey before I did. But I tend to just like, I'm a manifesting generator and I will
I
skip
am as
steps.
well.
Yeah, of course you are.
Of course I am.
So if it's like, oh, well, everyone else does these 10 steps and this is how you get from point A to point B, I'm like, no, I'm going to do it in 2 steps. And I'm going to
And
get from
like
point A to
grind
Z.
and get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when I started channeling and I just jumped into everything, my mom is also a Pisces. So she is just
Yeah.
a whole Pisces sun, Pisces moon.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so, just all the water, so emotional, so psychic. And yeah, she told me when I saw her and I told her about that channeling with the guy's voice. And it was a very pleasant channel. The message was like, basically, we have these milestones in our lives and we get to choose how we're going to get to those milestones. But those milestones are there, and we've set those for ourselves before we came into this life. But we create life in the way that we feel we would like to experience it at that point.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really helpful message. And I told my mom, and she was like, oh my gosh, you're connecting with bad stuff. And I trusted my mom implicitly because she introduced me to spirituality. So I was like, oh, she knows so much more than I do. So I shut everything down. I stopped channeling, I stopped meditating, I stopped everything. And I let it go, and then it just found its way back into my life. And then like a year later, I started watching Gaia and I started doing other stuff, and then it just all came back in. And then I was like, I need to learn how to read the Akashic Records. I need to do past life regression hypnosis. I need Reiki. I need like just anything to that would help me to connect to that higher realm is how I saw it
Yeah.
before. I didn't realize it was me connecting to myself. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
that
interesting. That kind of reminds me of a conversation we were having the other day where you were asking, we are just kind of comparing our energies and when we're going through something, how hard it is to connect. And I was saying to you,
my
it
God.
depends, right? If I'm going through something really rough, it could be grief or a lot of anxiety or a lot of emotions. I know it's almost like I treat it almost like I'm sick, right? Like I can't channel or if I can regulate my nervous system, then I'm good. But in general, the connection to the records or anything spiritual gives
Yeah.
me energy. It brings me back
Same.
to, it makes me feel in alignment and connected and just like grounded. It's so
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah. It's like getting back to yourself.
But we've done our work to find a way to find like our balance with it, right? Because I know if I do these many hours of channeling in one day, I'm gonna feel exhausted at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
But that's been trial and error, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You know
I
what's
also,
interesting? You were talking about your mom, and I kept feeling like she activated that reading activated something in you. Yeah, she could have told you information, but she
oh my gosh.
activated something in
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. You know what is so wild? So when my mom passed about 2 years ago, we're coming up on the 2 year mark.
Yeah.
I got this huge download and I had no idea what it meant. And it was that there was a legacy. So she left me with some kind of legacy. And I was like, what? Like, what? And I just started my spiritual business. You and Lucia had encouraged me to, um, I was in your community and you guys had encouraged me to go into the community and find some people to practice my new
Yeah.
skills on. And what was I going to say? Oh, and so that was my focus at the time. And so when she passed and I got that message about my legacy and I felt all of my energy change. I felt so different. And I had a session with a psychic and she told me that my field had expanded. And it because I got so sensitive. As soon as my mom passed, I started having a lot of alien activity. My channel opened up so wide. I was taking in so much information and it was so overwhelming because I was also very raw emotionally,
Yeah.
which caused me to like kind of suppress that. But the epiphany that I just had was that legacy is that now I activate people,
Yeah.
which I resisted before whenever anybody would say that, like, oh my God, I had a session with Ashley, and then like, oh my gifts like did this and this. And I was like, no, it's not me. And they were like, no, it was you. And I'm like, no. And I understand
Yeah, that
now
could
that
be a
it was,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's the frequency of what I'm saying that activates somebody. So it's not necessary. Yeah, it's it's a whole thing.
It's just embracing it. That's what I always say, like,
Yeah,
don't resist it, embrace it. But
yeah,
also, there's like this feeling with your mom of, yeah, there is like a legacy. There's something she activated in you, and it was the perfect timing, the perfect
yeah,
kind of, obviously, we have some kind of free will because that's part of our soul contract, but there's like
yeah.
this feeling of, um, it's like things expanded for you because it's almost like you've taken on what she's left behind.
Oh my gosh, yeah, to continue it. Oh my God, and you know what? I just started off doing Akashic Records readings like you do them, like you and Lucia, and I still do that kind. That's actually my favorite. But after she passed, I actually took another Akashic Records course. I've taken so many Akashic Records courses and read so many books. Your guys' was my favorite. So if anybody wants to learn, definitely check out your stuff. Um, and I want to talk about that a little bit. But remember in the very beginning, I said that my mom did a soul realignment reading for me, and I started off doing your kind of Akashic Records readings that are very free and open. And then I took a class, and it was soul realignment, and I learned how to do it the way that my mom did it, and I even called it the same thing that she called it without realizing it. I thought I was being so creative. I was like, oh, I'm going to call it a soul blueprint reading, and it took me a
I
few
remember
weeks.
her saying that in when I did a reading
Yeah,
for her, I was like, oh, how interesting, blueprint, like,
yeah.
hmm.
And that is what she did. And I did not put it together. It just organically happened. And one day I was like, what? Holy crap. And I never tied it into the legacy energy. So this is so interesting. I love this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something there, which is not the heaviness of it, but more of like the allowing the permission of following that legacy
Yeah.
and doing it your way, obviously, because
Yeah.
something about your mom, I feels like she wanted just to be free. There's like
Yeah.
this feeling, I don't know, that comes to me now. I don't remember the reading I did with her, but there's like the sense of like drawing outside the lines, like this openness. I think it was her energy,
Yeah.
but also it's also that Pisces energy probably of just like allowing people to just break free of things and activate things, right?
Yeah, yeah, she was a rebel. She was the black sheep of her family, self-professed black sheep of her family. Her family her family is a North Carolina family, and she was the only one who left North Carolina and worked overseas in Japan and Germany and Italy and like broke the mold of what her life and family lineage was like. It's
Wow, that's
wild. Yeah, so
huge.
she went against a lot of traditional paths in life that people usually expect. And she was born in 1949. And like when she was younger, she wanted to be a race car driver or like a fighter pilot. And her dad was like, you can't do that. You're a girl. And like that was
Wow.
the time she grew up in. So for her to go out and do all the things that she did was so cool and inspiring. I want to cry a little bit.
But that makes you can cry. That makes sense because she's empowering people. Yeah, activating people, helping them, but like
Helping
I
them
think
to
this
step
is
out of,
also why we
yeah,
resonate because the work that we do is we empower people. It's
yeah,
not like I'm gonna fix
yeah,
it for you. I
exactly.
always say I just help you find the information, the energy so that you can connect and
Yeah.
empower yourself and do the work.
and you hold the frequency of that healing because you can see their potential. You can feel what it
My
feels like for them
gosh,
to be in
yes,
that healed
100%.
frequency. And you holding that for them helps them to be able to pick up on that. It's so yeah.
It's so amazing. That is something I don't think I've ever really talked about, but I'll definitely have to do some kind of channeling around that, maybe in the
Yeah.
community, but or here. But when you, this is how I connect to it, right? And this is just us
Yeah.
having a little conversation as if
Yeah,
we were
yeah. Let's
just
go.
like
Let's
on
go.
WhatsApp, like, hey.
That's exactly how it goes.
I'm not saying this happens with everybody, but when somebody kind of asks me about their purpose, their
Oh
mission,
yeah.
their potential, that they feel a bit lost in life. This is more Akashic Records, right?
Yeah.
I, I obviously connect to their energy because I can see their energy. I can understand, like, wow, this person doesn't see
Yeah.
all of this energy over here. It's hard to,
Yeah.
it's so difficult to put it into words a lot of times because
Yeah.
I obviously channel with visions. Feelings was the big thing for me at the beginning, like I always
That was
talk
my
about on my
entry
journey.
point.
Yeah.
And you helped me with that so much. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're the same in that sense. And
Yeah.
then obviously just information coming in into like your brain as words, sentences. But
Yeah.
when you feel the person's energy, like, wow, this person really is not seeing their own light or their own potential.
That.
How do you put that into words? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can see timelines and paths, and you're like, you really need to think about this over here because
Yeah.
this is going to make you feel or be in a vibration that makes you feel insanely amazing.
Yeah.
Like being able to see that through somebody's records is like to me is like it makes me almost emotional as well. Like I'm just like I wish they could see that for themselves.
Yeah.
I bring that back to myself. We don't, it's really hard to see that within ourselves. So that's always why I would say it's
Yeah.
nice for somebody else to open your records and to connect and to give you the information because
Yeah.
our ego, our mind will always, and that's why I get reality checks from you sometimes. You get reality checks from me. I'm
Yeah.
like, but you're not seeing this part of it, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're right.
Which
You're
can
right.
be so uncomfortable sometimes, which is why it's so nice when there is that trust and you know that
Yeah.
the person's coming from love, even if they're like, hey, get your
Yeah.
crap together.
Like Lorena, love yourself, respect
Yeah.
yourself. Like,
Yeah.
think about the
Yeah.
value that you bring to this thing over here.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
important to have somebody in that sense, but with love and kindness. And yeah, calling you out
Yeah.
on things is fine, but not from a judgy place, right? Like I always say, it's
No,
always from
not at
love
all.
and
It's always like, have you thought about this? Are you looking at it from this angle? Did you
yeah,
consider this? Yeah.
yeah. And I think the records
Yeah.
is a lot like that. It is that same
Absolutely.
energy.
It is.
It's
It's
like a
not a
best friend
definitive
talking to you.
answer. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like,
it
hey, what
almost is like
about
your friend holding your hand and saying, "Hey, but look at this over here, and
literally
you have this
that?
path over here, and maybe if we look
Yes.
at this, you can break free of this thing and this pattern over here, and you
Yeah.
can do that with love and kindness and just
Yeah.
compassion towards yourself." I think that's why I think I felt so drawn to the records from the beginning and why I was getting readings at like 20 something. This was like a long time
That
ago,
is so
right?
wild. I love your story. Yeah.
And a lot of my spiritual path, actually, no, all of my spiritual path also, I'm here because of my mom, because my
Oh
mom
my
was
gosh. Oh
so
yeah.
open spiritually. Like, even from the moment my
Yeah.
sister was born, she was so sick. She brought her to this healer, found all the
Oh, I love
answers.
that.
Yeah. And then from there, she opened up. Obviously, she was very religious at the time, I suppose, because she went to church and it was the time.
Yeah. I think that's very common.
Yeah. But then she, opened up to all the spirit, she's a Reiki master. She studies stuff. Like the other day, before you even started talking about tapping to me, she's like, Lorena, did you ever hear about tapping? I'm like, Mom, I know what
Stop it.
tapping is. Come on.
Love that.
She studies stuff. So she'll go on and she's like, this person did this technique and this is how he does it. I'm like, Mom,
I love
she's so
it.
curious. I think I get my curiosity from her sometimes. I'm like, yeah, Mom, thanks, but I already know that. I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. But yeah, it's funny how we also have that parallel of like our moms activating something in us, right?
Yeah.
But
That is
also our experiences.
Yeah, we also put our action into it and
Yeah.
definitely committed to our own paths on our own because we could have ignored my mom did that to so many people. My mom had her whole mission was waking everybody up and she had no filter about it. And I remember her trying, like, alienated a lot of our family members because she would just not shut up. And they would be like, I really don't care about aliens. Like, I really don't care about the new Earth. You sound crazy. And she'd be like, let me just do your blueprint.
I remember her in the reading talking about all this stuff. I was like, wow, she's very open. Like,
Yeah.
it felt like she was in another like
World
consciousness. Like that's the
dimension.
best way I
Yeah.
could describe
She
it.
was not operating on the same frequency that everybody else was on. And not in a
No.
crazy way. In an this is a simulation and it's really not real. This is actually where we're at.
Yeah.
Like that is where she lived. And I didn't understand that until you just brought that up just now. At the time, I would just be so irritated because I was still, she was so Pisces and so floaty and in another dimension, in her own world all the time, in a fantasy world. But I was so like, I have to work and I have to like produce and I have my tech job and I have my business and
That
like
was
I just don't
literally
have
me as
time for the
well.
bullshit. Yeah, and like and I now
I couldn't believe in all of this.
yeah,
I could
exactly.
not believe in all this. It was something that was like, what?
Like what?
What? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I have to make money. I have to go to work. Like, I'm stuck in the rat race. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's a hang up for people because I remember when I got into spirituality and I started my business and I started diving into my natal chart. And I found out that I'm a bridge. Like my south node is in Scorpio in my third house, and my north node is in my ninth house in Taurus. And I'm a bridge between worlds. And when I first heard that, I was like, what? Basically, a bridge between the psychic underworld and practical real life
Oh, I
grounded
love
things.
that. Yes.
So when I first understood that, I was like, wait, so does that mean I need to quit my corporate tech job because I'm really over it and I just want to channel all day long. Like that's all I care
Mhm.
about. And I remember uh the reader who even the first reader who told me that, she was like, no, it doesn't mean quit your job. It just means you understand how to bridge those worlds. You can do both. You can have your spiritual business and you can connect and you can channel. And then you also understand how to be practical and how to apply those spiritual insights to your life so that you can find more fulfillment in your job so that you understand why you're getting triggered by stuff. And then you're bridging the gap. You're not leaving one world to go into the other. And all I wanted to do was leave this practical world and go into the floaty channeling spiritual world and be there all day. And I think part of that was bypassing, which my mom did. She she used spirituality as a band-aid for trauma in her life. And I think
Mm.
that this is something that definitely needs to be talked about more in the spiritual community because I think it's really easy for people to be like love and light and I'm just connecting with my soul and I'm getting triggered, but I'm just going to turn that into like love right now. Like
Mm. Yeah.
if you're not actually paying attention to the things that are coming up, and my mom just refused. She was like, nope, cancel that. I'm fine. I healed my frequency. I went into my Akashic Records and I meditated and I nullified that lesson. And I was like, no,
I agree with what you're
I
saying,
don't like that energy.
100%. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can't bypass. Bypassing is rejecting, and that's coming back to
Yes.
you as a
Yes.
lesson.
Yes.
100%.
100%. And it just
We
gets
have
harder
to,
and harder and more in your face. Oh,
and
yeah.
not even to mention if it's that you don't even learn it in this life and it could come back in another incarnation, like
Exactly.
forget about it. But
Yeah.
oh my God, I love that that's come up, that we're going to talk about that because that's pretty much like kind of what we've been talking about with what I've been going through, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
been leaning a lot on, and I kind of went on it. I think the eclipse season really just
Oof.
accentuated,
Brought everything out.
but it's
Yeah.
insane, right? When our mind can play such tricks on us, right? Because I'm like, wait,
Yes.
I remember I was speaking to a friend yesterday, and I was telling him, I was like, I don't think I've ever felt these emotions before. And then I'm like, wait, what am I talking about? And I went back in time a couple of years ago. I'm like, actually, that I did feel that. And I felt that here and here. It's obviously intensified now because it's
Yeah.
something I need to look at, this rejection, this abandonment.
Yeah.
So
Same.
I don't want to run away from it. I want to
Yeah.
give it love and I want to give it the attention that it needs, but I also need to understand that whatever that abandonment and those emotions, it's asking me to come back to myself, which is basically what
Yes.
I've had to do, right? I've had to kind of bring the energy back to myself and focus on me. And I tend to lose track of that sometimes, be it through work, people,
Yeah, we all
relationships.
do.
But I could have just been like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Like, I'll just move on. Yeah.
I'm also a feeler, so I can't really do that. I feel everything.
Yeah.
So that is very hard for me.
Yeah.
I do know a lot of people that it's easy. They can just shut their feelings off.
Yes.
I used to be that way, but
Same.
that made me sick.
Yep. Same.
Very sick,
Oh,
physically
that's a
sick.
that's a
Yeah.
great segue into constellations.
Yeah. So we did a little exercise, but we've done an actual constellation, right? We've done one.
Yeah, we've done a couple. I
Has it been a
think
couple?
we've done. Yeah, because we did one. I quit my corporate tech job last year when the grief all I was suppressing. I was not feeling my feelings. It was very scary, and I was just like, nope. Because I'm a medium, I could immediately speak to my mom, and I have conversations with her all the time. And so her not physically being here, I bypassed that whole healing part, and I was like, nope, because I know she's still here. I understand how the spirit world works. So I didn't process my human physical grief in my body. And after about 6 months, it all hit me and my brain froze. I couldn't do my job. And so I had to take time off of work and I ended up not having enough time. It was 3 months that they gave me. And it took 3 months just to bring my nervous system down a little bit so that I could feel like I could breathe. And then they were
Wow.
like, it's time to come back. And I was like, no, I just started feeling better. So I quit and it was in a good way. And they were like, you can come back whenever you want. We understand, which was wonderful. I work for a wonderful company. And what the heck was I talking about? Like the
But
grief.
the getting sick and the emotions
Oh,
and repression.
yeah. And so repressing that grief, it ended up coming back out in a way bigger way than I think it would have hit me than if I had dealt with it. And so when I quit, I got an opportunity to go back to my job a little earlier than I was planning to. I had been thinking about it. It was wild. I was thinking about it. I went to Hawaii to visit my sister for her birthday, and I was in Hawaii and I was like, man, my bank account's going down. I wonder if my job's got any spaces left. I think I should probably start thinking about
Yeah, I
going back.
remember we talked about that a little bit, and you're like, what should I
Yeah.
do? Well,
Yeah, it was because I felt so much relief and freedom when I quit, which let me know that was the right move at that time. And I'd been feeling it and avoiding it for like a year. And but I had my business and I wanted to pour everything into my business. It was doing well. I was finally making over $1,000 a month consistently, which was huge for me.
mm.
And so I came to you and I was like, Lorena, help me. I don't know what to do. I have big life decisions and I have all these feelings and emotions and I don't want to feel them. And so we did a family constellation. And my God, you're so gifted. Holy crap. Like I had done a family constellation in a group setting with
Okay.
um what was her name?
Oh, with
You
Marina
yes, with Maria.
online. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
Marina
amazing.
Toledo. Toledo.
Toledo. Yeah, she's
Marina
in
Toledo.
Canada.
Ah, okay.
She's
Yes. So I did
amazing. Highly recommend her.
so cool. It was such a cool experience. And so that
Yeah.
was kind of my entry into constellation work. And we did a group workshop. And so there were lots of people I didn't know there, which was wild because we were talking about very deep personal stuff. And I was like, we're all just here with people we don't know. But the way that that container is created, suddenly it's like you are friends with everybody. Like you're
You're all
comfortable,
connected.
know everybody. It is the wildest experience. It is so hard to explain without experiencing it yourself.
Mm.
And so I'd had that experience. So I kind of understood. But then I had a one-on-one session with you, and it was so different doing it one-on-one and just having my energy there and just having the energy of my situation and you directing all of the questions and the characters and like the energy. It was wild. And what we moved was I was like, I don't know if I should focus on my business. I don't know if I should go back to my job. I've got mom issues I know I need to deal with. I've got dad stuff that I know I need to deal with, and I feel stuck. And the way that we put everything on the board literally wrote that story and then explained it. And it allowed me to see, like, if I move this thing, if I move this energy, then this path will open up for me. And I went back to my job and I was supposed to do that. Like,
Yeah.
it was a tough decision, but now I understand, like, that was the choice I was supposed to make. And had I not done that constellation with you, I feel like I would have ultimately gotten back to my job somehow, but it wouldn't have been as smooth of a path.
Right, because in the constellation, from what I can remember, because I kind of,
Yeah. You were, yeah.
yeah,
You're
especially
like
with
in a channel
channeling, but
mode.
the constellations as well, because it's energy. I
Yeah.
remember you just getting clarity on what felt right.
Yeah. And I had essentially been ignoring my business and not wanting to look at it because I was scared of what it would mean if it failed or if I didn't do well or what it said about me. And then my tech job felt like this obligation energy. And the tech job was tied to my mom because I was essentially stepping into the energy that she lived her life through before she broke out of that. And she felt like she wanted to be an artist, but she ended up being a teacher because she had to survive and she had kids. And so I was like, I'm gonna do tech because I got divorced and I have to survive and I have to pay bills. And then she ultimately did do her art along with teaching. And she also bridged those two worlds where she was able to channel and paint and like, but she would
Wow.
still go to work and pay her bills and travel and make money. So I never realized that until just now when we were talking about it. This is
But
what a
even
lot
the
of these
bridging for me
conversations.
too. I always say I live between two worlds, right? I
That
live
is
between
so
the spiritual and
interesting.
connection and the very 3D, which is my two businesses, right? And
Yeah.
I love both.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give either of them up. I want to do both.
I love that.
It's just,
Skip.
it's been a process finding the balance between it.
Yes.
That's the only thing for
That.
me.
That.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to find that because I'm still I'm still unraveling the belief that I my worth is derived from what I produce and accomplish. And I'm now
Wow.
rewiring that my worth is inherent. And so resting is the same as working because when I rest, I get to recalibrate my frequency. I get to reset so that when I do choose to take an action, I can do it with all of my energy, not 5% of my energy.
I love that.
I'm learning that.
I think that's for me too. I just,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, it's for a lot of us because we
Wow.
live in a society where that is the ideal that's pushed. It means you're a strong, great person. It means you're super successful if you act like that. And then people who don't act like that are vilified. Like you're lazy. Oh, you're just a stay-at-home mom. Oh, you don't work. What are you doing? What are you contributing to the relationship? What are you contributing to the world? Like, no. I heard this, I heard this quote, or I heard this person say something about how in the United States, and I'm American, I wasn't born in the United States. I was born in Germany, but I'm American culturally for the most part. And I'm a child of the world. But I'm mostly culturally, I'm mostly American.
Yeah.
And generally in conversation and small talk, when you meet somebody, you ask somebody, "Oh, what do you do? What do you
Yeah.
do for work?" But in Europe and in other cultures, when you ask someone what they do, it's what do you like to do? How do you spend your time? Not
Yeah.
what do you do for a job.
What are
So
your
in America,
hobbies?
yeah, exactly. Like who are you based on like what you like? What are you passionate about? That's
Wow.
such a and better question than, oh, what do you do to make money? Like
Mm,
that tells you, oh, that doesn't tell you anything
that
about a person.
doesn't tell you anything about somebody unless
Yeah,
they're literally living their purpose and their mission through their job, which I always say in a reading, your purpose and mission may not be linked to a job or a
exactly. They're not
career.
synonymous. Yeah. And so
No,
I think that's very telling of us that our focus is, oh, what do you do so that I can label you or categorize you or understand who you are, which essentially perpetuates the notion that your identity is tied to your work or your career. And I don't believe that either. Like no,
no,
thank you. That
I
doesn't
don't
feel
believe
nice
that
to me.
either.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good, and it shouldn't really be connected to your value.
No.
But it is cultural, like you say. So I think especially North America, it's very much that mentality of
Yeah.
go to school, get your degree,
Yeah.
get your career moving, move out of the house, do this. It's a
Yes.
lot of
Literally.
pressure. A
Yeah.
lot of pressure. And I think like you're 18 years old, you're already supposed to decide what you're going to do with your life. That seems like
And
so crazy.
brain hasn't even developed fully 18.
No.
What? I was a child. I remember being 25 and I felt like I was like, yeah, I'm here, I'm doing it, I'm an adult. But like now looking back, I'm like, oh my God, at 25, I was still technically like 18 based on like what I understood about the world. And I grew up overseas, I grew up traveling between countries, like, so I wasn't sheltered. I feel like I had a very open worldview. Um, yeah.
I think living in other countries, or different countries, not just the one you were born in,
Yeah.
or, traveling even. You don't
Yeah.
have to live necessarily either. For some people,
Yeah.
traveling's enough to open your mind to what's really out there and how people are living and how cultures are different
Yeah.
and expectations and I think like I remember when I went to Sweden to see my dad's cousin. I was with my sister. I went twice actually. And he kind of just showed us around and explained how life was. I'm like, wow, it's so even different from Uruguay where I am now. I was like, wow, the society's different, people are different. The
Wow.
way
Yeah.
people envision money and
Yeah.
their daily life and how they interact with each other was different. I mean, you could say that about England, you can say that about South
Yeah.
America in general,
Just
but it
the way that
opens your
some
mind to
people are about to
decide,
think.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I say. It opens your mind to different options to decide, how do I want to live? How do I, not necessarily have to move countries, but be like, I don't, I don't
I
think
don't
this
resonate
works
with
for
this
me.
way.
No,
Yeah.
this doesn't work for
Yeah.
me, and I think this fits more with who I am and how I want to live.
I love
Then
that.
that obviously that's giving yourself permission to do that and seeing how that kind of intertwines into the reality that you're living and the physical place that you're in, right?
Yeah.
Everything's so global now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Everything.
here in South
Yeah.
America, you're in North America, we're doing a Zoom call, we're speaking the same language, we're understanding each other, same language spiritually, but also English,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? So, there's no boundaries anymore. If we look at it even in the global sense, like, but spiritually, there are no, like, I do readings for people all over the world. It's crazy. And you're
Yeah.
like, wow, and we're all connected. It doesn't matter where you are physically. So
Yeah.
we can change our reality at any time, right? I was
Yeah.
saying to you the other day, I want to get more into this quantum energy stuff. Like, I want to understand that and like connect to that in the records and see what comes through.
Yes. Yeah, I actually have a list of books for you. I don't have any of the books. I will be buying them because I'm a
All of
book
them?
collector. Yes, I will be buying all of I think I had like seven because after you asked me, you were like, "Hey, do you know any books for quantum, like the quantum field and quantum energy?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I love talking about it." And you were like, "Yeah, but do you have books? Do you have resources?"
Like, just
I was
give
like,
them to
"Let me
me.
check because I have so many books."
Yeah, you've
Um,
sent me so many book recommendations. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I love books so much. And yeah, and so I looked up some of the best books for understanding the quantum field and quantum energy. And so I have a whole list, and some of them are like spirituality and science, some are heavier on spirituality, some are heavier on science. And so I'm gonna send
Right.
you the list so you can have a nice little mix.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
I'm
Wait,
excited.
going back, so I was thinking about the constellation we did and kind of the tools that we both use, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we talked a little bit that you use tarot, Akashic Records,
Emotion
uh,
code, energy
emotion
healing,
code. So when
which
you say
is
energy healing, like
uh,
what healing exactly do you do?
so moving energy. So the emotion code is like a deeper version of tapping. So um, tapping works with your meridians and it helps you to move energy, move emotions in your body, and to help your nervous system. The emotion code also works on your nervous system, but it works holistically with your nervous system and your subconscious energy, which dictates how your nervous system operates.
Obviously, yeah.
So, the emotion code, I connect to your subconscious. We let your subconscious direct the session and say, you can come with issues or like physical symptoms, mental symptoms, spiritual, anything. You can do the emotion code on. And then we connect with your subconscious and see what the severity of that issue or emotion or whatever it is. We see how severely it is impacting your energy and impacting the flow of your energy. And then your subconscious dictates how much of that energy you are able to move healthfully because you can move a lot of energy, but it can be overwhelming for your system.
Right.
So it's important to work with your subconscious and allow it to dictate what your field can handle because just like holding on to emotions is a lot of energy, releasing them is also a lot of energy,
Yeah.
which I know you're
It can
very
feel
well aware of.
scary, yeah, for some people, and
Yeah,
it's nice for somebody to walk you through that or hold your hand through that, and then
exactly.
you can process that, right? A
Exactly.
lot of I do that a lot of that in, family constellations work.
Yeah.
I mean, I even did two constellations in, well, I think it was a month apart, and the amount of energy that you move in a session, depending on how open you are, obviously, and what you're connecting to, but wow, it's pretty insane.
It is. Whenever I do a family constellation session, it
I
takes
cry.
weeks. Like yeah, during the session a
Oh,
lot, and you don't expect it. You're just like you're sitting there, and then the constellator will ask you a question, and then you're like,
you feel it. Yeah,
just
and
like
you may not
it's
even be a
wild.
feeler. Yeah. And it's the healing phrases that move that energy or that
Oh
what you're
my
looking at.
God,
But usually the healing phrases are what move that.
it's
I was
wild.
saying in my little video on
Oh my
Instagram
God.
where a couple of phrases really like, oh my gosh, they touched me so to like my core.
Ugh, I know that feeling.
Oh, and one was like, I have it here. I open up to everything that I am. And when I say open up, I feel like it's like my heart and my arms are opening up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's big. Oh, you know what? That actually forgot I had a microphone here. I thought it was my water. Let me just get comfortable.
She's like, let me get in close.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say. That threw me so
Oh
off.
my God, I love it. I love it. I love you. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I don't remember. Um, I know we're gonna wrap this up shortly, but I really want I think the parallels between our paths and our lives are so freaking wild. So I kind of want to talk about. So I found the Akashic Records. My mom introduced me to them, but then, and I read a book by Linda Howe, and
Yep.
I tried for about 2 weeks, and I could get in kind of, but I wasn't really sure. I took another course, and it didn't really help me, and then I took your course, and I almost gave up when I read that Linda Howe book and tried for 2 weeks and got in a few times, and I got in and I could see stuff a few times, and I was just expecting to see stuff. That's how I thought it was going to happen. And then taking your course helped me so much because your gateway into the records is first you feel it, you feel emotions, you feel sensations in your body, and then it opens up your other senses. And when I saw and heard you explain that, I was like, oh, and I tried that, and that immediately helped me to be able to access mine. Um, but before I found your course, I was looking for a spiritual mentor or teacher, and I'd had this nightmare that just, I was like, I have to figure out what this means. And then I dove into hypnosis, past life regression, but I found this mentor and this community, and I ended up taking a bunch of Reiki courses and getting Reiki certified, becoming Reiki teacher certified. Like I did all the courses. And so then I started doing Reiki, but it didn't feel like my thing. I was like, I like doing Reiki, but when I do Reiki, I'm channeling the whole time. Like
Yep.
I'm like working on energy, but I'm like, you had a past life thing here and on your left ankle, like you've
You
got a
just want to
chain
talk and
from the
tell them everything.
literally, no, that's what I did the whole time. So I was like, okay. And then I started doing the Akashic Records readings, and I was like, this feels really good. And from Akashic Records, I found V, Golden V, through your podcast, and then I took her psychic development course, which I'm pretty sure you also did. So it's just so
I
wild.
ended up mentoring with her on the mediumship stuff, and
Oh,
I
no way.
recommend her to a lot of people because
So
she's
good.
just so good. Um, and I think
Yeah,
she's
her
a good
is.
teacher and mentor,
She simplifies it so well.
which
She
is
taught
kind of
me,
the same vibe Lou and I have when we teach stuff.
yeah,
We're
it's
not going to
very
overcomplicate it.
grounded.
Just figure out the
Yeah,
energy and work through it and just
yeah.
ground into it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And like,
So
so
you
how
worked
did you,
with V.
yeah, for psychic skills and mediumship.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And we had one session, it was so funny because like she did the psychic exercises she does, and I got every single one of them. And she was like,
What are you talking
okay,
about, Ashley?
okay. It was so much fun. I love you. She's such a like
Yeah.
warm, encouraging energy. Like,
Oh, I say that to you and her all the time.
oh,
Like
I
I always
love,
say I love you guys, obviously, because I feel this
yeah.
love for you that I don't,
Yes,
you know,
same.
I love everybody, but I feel like there's a connection here, soul connection, but
Yeah.
it feels like we're sisters. It's so weird.
Yes, the similarities, the way that we're able to speak to each other without having to explain ourselves. You said something earlier that I wanted to speak to because I feel like a lot of sensitive people or people who feel a lot, like we were speaking about earlier, sometimes it's hard to articulate the information that you're taking in, whether you're feeling it, whether you're absorbing it in another way. And it can be really isolating when you have all of this stuff going on, but you feel like nobody's going to understand because you can't articulate it. And so having these kinds of connections
Yeah.
feels like such a gift because I don't have to tell you. I can tell you how I'm feeling, but you get all of the
I
background
connect to it.
layers that
I
I
get
don't have
it.
to say. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it,
And it's
oh, I
not
want to
because we've
cry
been
talking about it.
talking,
It's so
it's because it's
nice.
energy. It's energy, right? So
Yeah.
you get it. Yeah, I I think we have to also be careful of the things that we say to ourselves, right? And that's something that I remember
Yes.
my constellation teacher kept saying, our words have energy, our words, she's
Oh my
very in that.
God.
So when we
So
would
big
go
with
into
that.
like a session or a class, she's like, let's reframe that. And I got
Yeah,
into that like when I go in a session with someone, okay,
same.
let's look at that for a second, right? Um, but I always say like be careful the stories we tell ourselves sometimes because for me it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't know how to express myself in words. I do. I do. I hold
You're
myself
right.
back.
Thank you for that reframe. You're correct. I can articulate myself very well. Yeah.
You
So
can,
what, so
100%.
what, what is that then? How
To me,
come?
it's just that there are emotions that you can't put words to. It doesn't matter how articulate you are or how great you are with words or
Okay.
how great you are
Yeah.
speaking or expressing yourself. There are things, and that happens to me in the record. Sometimes like I'm feeling this, but and I'll say to the person, be like,
Same.
okay, let me just try to explain to you what I'm feeling in the best way possible because and the person will understand it because they're already feeling. I'm just feeling it
It's
through
their
them.
energy. Yeah, exactly.
And I
That's,
think
oh,
that's something
good.
beautiful that you can understand somebody at an energetic level, not just you're telling me a story, I'm understanding you, I'm going in
Yeah.
deeper, right?
It's emotional attunement.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, which is not a natural thing for everyone. Not everybody does that naturally. Some people have, yeah. And
Yeah,
I
and
think
I
it,
don't think everybody's
oh,
open for you to connect to that either, right?
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
So, like, everything I'm going through, there's certain people that I'm not able to really read it. And,
Yeah.
my ego gets in the way. There's this
Yeah.
validation, there's the abandonment, there's like these emotions that
Oh
don't
my
allow
God,
me to
completely.
really read and see and connect clearly. But if it's outside of that realm, a friend like you can tell me something like,
Yeah.
okay, let's unpack that. Let's look at that.
Yeah.
Let's really analyze that from an emotional, mental, spiritual
And
space.
feel into it. You're really good about being like, well, like sit with it, feel it. Because I always want to jump on it and take action and like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna make a choice. And you're like, just sit with it and integrate. And like, oh, I love that you always bring it back to like, get back into your body because I dissociate so easily. When you channel, it's so easy to get out of your body.
Yeah.
And I've gotten so much better with channeling as I've gotten into my body. It has expanded my channel so much because now I feel more. Now I
Yeah.
pick up on the nuances and it gives me so much more information. And I was missing out on that because I was scared of my emotions for so long. Like, it's wild.
Emotions can feel scary. I mean, especially when we are talking earlier about grief.
Yeah.
That isn't can feel like almost like a debilitating.
Death. Oh my God.
It's I think also my Scorpio rising. I get a lot of these themes come up with clients, with people that come to me, and I invite it in. I love that energy. I want to hold somebody's hand through that, and I feel like people just tend to gravitate towards me because of that energy that I just
Yeah,
I
you
want to go
do.
deep. I don't. I think I'm starting to find that even at like uh friendship level. I don't want superficial energy. Like
Same.
I can chit chat. That's fine. But if we're talking
Yeah.
about friendships, connections where I'm going to completely be vulnerable with you, open up, talk, communicate, connect. I want
Share
that
this
to
stuff
come from a place of like, I want you to fully open up with me and I'll hold space for you and you'll do the same for me and we can really be there for each
back and
other.
forth. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I realize as time goes by that the more I go into that energy, the more the spirituality, that part of myself that I'm embracing, that feels everything too, because I can, you can
Yeah.
come to me and I can feel what you're feeling, right?
Exactly.
Um, it's almost like I have to get comfortable with my own emotions. Otherwise, how do I help people with their emotions? Like I won't understand
Act.
them. But even
Exactly
the
that.
other day when I message you, I'm like, oh my God, I'm having literally an anxiety attack. You're like
Yeah.
tap. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, tap. Brought me back to my body, but also that it's those two worlds we were talking about, right? There's the
Uh,
Scorpio rising and then all my Taurus energy. It's like I'm very grounded, I'm very mind driven, but there's a part of me
yeah.
that feels everything so deeply when they get kind of mixed up.
Contradictory. Ugh.
My gosh,
Yeah.
I'm just
It
like,
feels like
where do I
turmoil.
go?
Just like, what do I do? It's,
Yeah.
oh God.
So that's where the tools come in, right? Like,
Yeah.
Tapping has been insane. I've actually I have a few scripts. I'm going to do my own tapping videos to help people with what I'm going
Oh, I
through,
love that. I want to do
or
that.
just themes that I
Right.
see coming up. For me, breath work has been more impactful than meditation, but meditation to me is phenomenal. It's amazing.
And there's so many
Um,
different kinds. I feel like people lock themselves. They're like, I can't meditate. No, there are so many
you could
different
do,
ways to
but the walking, just
go
walk and
walk.
meditate.
I
Yeah.
literally same page, Lorena, same
Yeah.
page.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
overcomplicate things. Like,
Yeah.
why? Let's
Yeah.
make things simple. I'm very grounded in that. Like, I don't make any, I try. Sometimes I do overcomplicate things with my mind, but I try to make things as practical as possible. Like, even the advice that comes through the records, like, I'm just like, "Yeah, just do
Like, let me
this. Do
grab
it for five
this.
minutes. Do it for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
Even
don't.
if you have 2 minutes, just do it a little bit. Just the action, just taking that little action is shifting that energy and opening up stuff for you. So yeah, and I
100%.
do that. I'm like that. I'm like, if I can't meditate for 20 minutes, I'm not doing it. But if I sit down and I just ground my energy and clear my energy for 5 minutes, it makes
Mm.
such a difference. But then I also have these times where I'm like, I know I need to meditate because I am so moody and taut, like wound tightly. And even my boyfriend will be like, have you meditated lately? And I'll be
I
like,
love it.
no, but I know I
I
should.
should. Yeah.
And he'll just be like, I'm gonna leave the room.
I'll
Because
leave you to
it's
it.
that resistance of like, oh, I know I should, but I don't want to because I'm like, it's almost like the that tension feeling becomes familiar, and I'm like, I know this feeling, so I'm just gonna sit in this and I'm gonna power through. And then all of the old programs about not resting and powering through and forcing and not listening to your body or your intuition, all that sets in, and then you go meditate, and then you remember that you rise above that, and you're like, oh, if I just make space for myself, things don't
And
seem
it
so
could be
complicated
so
and hard.
simple. Like for me, right now, I'm leaning on tapping,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's just a
Yeah.
minute, a little bit
Hey,
of breathing, a
yeah.
minute,
Just
two.
one round, all the points,
Yes.
and breathe while I'm doing it, just to get me back into my body, calm my nervous system down, because I will hold my breath. I'll hold
Oh,
my
me
breath or
too.
take very shallow breaths. You told me that in a constellation when you did a group one for the community, the
Did
Soul
I?
Tribe community. Yeah, we had
I don't remember.
um I think you did, there were a couple of us in the group that you did within the constellation, and mine was, you told me that it was my breathing because I had so much anger and rage pent up, and you were like, you're not breathing. And I couldn't take a deep breath. I'd gotten
Oh, I
so used to
remember that
shallow
now.
breathing.
Yes.
Yeah, so much moved in that. And that constellation was what got me to breathe. And I started doing breath work. It hurt, it physically hurt to try to take a deep breath. I couldn't. It was wild. And
Wow.
I did a session with Maiden Ali. I feel like I don't say her name right. Maiden Ali?
I can never say her name, but yeah.
Love her so much.
Yeah,
She
she's
did
awesome.
a tram session with
Tram,
me.
yep.
Oh my God, it was so freaking cool. And she said the same thing. It was such an amazing session. Absolutely, highly recommend. Oh my God, it made a huge difference in my energy, and it really helped me to move forward because I was very stuck. But she said the same thing. She got to my chest area and she's like, "You don't breathe." She's like, you can't take it, like it's hard for you to take a deep breath." And I was like, "Shut up."
Was that after the grief with your mom?
Um, I think it was. Oh my God,
Why am
yeah.
I saying this? Because that's the message I'm getting, first of all, but also I think that's just the repression
Oh, for sure.
because it's all
100%.
coming
It's
from
me holding
here.
so tightly. Yeah. And I've started to actually, a lot of the energy work that I've been doing and finally looking at things I feel the energy moving in my heart. Like I can feel what side, which emotions are on, where they're stored. Like, and as they're being released, I can feel the sensation of it like breaking away. It is wild. And I can feel that for other people now that I've done that for myself. So now if I get a reading with somebody, like I just had an Akashic Records reading and I was like, you, I was like, my heart is hurting on the left bottom side. And I
Oh
was
my
like, that's
gosh.
relief.
Yes.
I was
I,
like,
c-
there's
I
loss.
feel, I'll feel physical things in my body. It's insane.
So
Some
cool.
people get scared of that at the beginning when they start channeling, right?
Yeah. I
And I
was
always, that's part of what
off.
like, I try to communicate, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't fear it, embrace it. Like
Mhm.
the emotions as if they were your own, but understanding that you're connecting to somebody's energy and you
Yeah.
need to almost just like just acknowledge it. The moment you
Yeah,
acknowledge it and ask, like, what is
exactly.
this? And then just the words start flowing. That's how literally I
Yes.
usually start all my sessions with people. I'll
Same.
feel something and I'll acknowledge it.
Yep.
All of a sudden, all this information starts coming in. You're like,
Literally that. And
whoa.
as I am expressing what I'm seeing or feeling or getting, the pain will go away. Because there are times when I
It goes
do,
away. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because there are times that
Because
it'll
it's not
sit
yours.
around
It's a way for you to understand what the person
and
is
convey
feeling or
that
going
message.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's better than understanding somebody's pain by feeling it?
Yeah. Oh my
That's
God.
the
Yeah.
way I always connect to it through the records, or like I'm obviously because I go deep also, but I feel like you have the same energy as me. What better way to understand and put yourself at the same level as the other person? Because I'm not above you if I'm doing a reading.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just a channel. I'll say that to people
yeah.
constantly. I am just a channel. This is your
Yeah.
information. My
The
job today is
concept.
to make sure that I can get all those messages to you in the most clear, concise, aligned way without
Mhm.
my ego, my mind, or my issues getting in the way. If I feel that I can't because of there's a topic, this is something that I really understood through all my family constellation training and why I keep doing my work, right? That I keep doing my
Yeah.
healing is I
Yeah.
can't like my own triggers and things get in the way of being able to hold space and healers healing, right? As a
Yes.
I also don't like that word, by the way. Like you said it, I'll say it too. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're a channel, but you can't let your own issues get in the way of
Their
sending those,
information.
their
Yeah.
information. And I'm always
Yeah.
very honest with myself. Like if I feel like I can't be there for somebody, I'll tell them. Like I don't think
Yeah.
I'm the right
Same.
person. I think, this could go better with this tool over here.
I've done that with people. Yeah, I'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
I think that this person would actually work better for you. And I will absolutely like give you to the person or recommend the person that I think is better suited. Yeah, because I don't feel like
100%.
I'm not a perfect match for everybody. And I feel like the people that are drawn to getting a reading with me are drawn to me because of my energy and because of what I have already gone through and what I
They
can speak
resonate
about
with you.
resonates. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they can feel that frequency and they're like, oh, and it's almost like they can feel that frequency in me. And then uh, it's like it allows them to recognize it in themselves. And they don't always realize that that's what's happening. And they come to me and they're like, yeah, I just saw you. And I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
feel like, and I'm like, yeah.
This is why I always say to people, why I love doing videos like this on YouTube. It could be
Yes.
conversations, it could be just speaking about our own journeys or just talking about topics.
Yeah.
YouTube has been a place that people will email me like, I connected to your energy and I really felt like it resonated. I'm like, that's amazing. And I will always say, do not work with somebody you don't resonate with. It doesn't matter who they are,
Exactly.
where they are, what they're doing, what they're not doing. If
Yeah.
their energy doesn't vibe with where you're at, what's the point in working with somebody that you don't feel safe with?
Exactly.
And I don't think everybody's for everybody. And I never take that as rejection, right? In the spiritual sense, I
Yeah.
don't. Maybe in a more romantic sense, I may have to still work through some of those things, but being very transparent and like open and vulnerable. But I think the lessons come through in all different ways, right? And I think I've always had this like mantra, right? This is something I don't know who I was talking to. I'm trying to think about. Oh, my friend, the friend I was telling you about that I was with yesterday, who I'm seeing
Yeah.
today again. He met somebody and this person said to him that they always look to leave people in a better place after they've left them physically, right?
I like
And
to
I
do the
feel
same.
like I unconsciously do that. I try, but I don't, it's not like I'm trying, right?
Yeah,
And through
yeah,
my
yeah.
readings, and I feel like that's our vibe here and why we
Yeah.
probably also really resonate. We want to leave people more validated,
Up
more
like
understood, more seen, more empowered.
feel like you have options, feel like you are making like you're yeah, the empowerment part. Feel like you are the
Yeah.
one in the driver's seat. Like understanding that nothing is happening to you, that you're not trapped or limited, that you have options available to you and you just get to choose based on what feels nice for you. Like
Yeah.
I always want people to leave sessions feeling like they have more clarity or direction. And I don't even like using the word clarity, honestly. I like for people to feel like they were seen. That is, I think that's one of the most important things for me in a
Oh, me
session.
too.
When somebody comes to me, I want them to feel like I saw them because I am a soul mirror. So I naturally will do that for people. Like, if you feel drawn to me, it's because I'm going to mirror back to you. Like,
Amen. I'm the
that's
same.
part of what we have. Like,
Yeah. Amen.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
wonderful. I mean, I feel so blessed to be able to have met you through this work and us be able
same.
to help each other too, because we've helped each other with our own tools.
It's so nice.
Um, and just goes to show like how these communities that we build also can like really help sustain us and help us move through our own work, but also, you know,
Yeah,
I don't know, there's just something about these connections that I know that they're not random, they're not
yeah.
coincidences, right? And I'm trying to convince you to come to Uruguay to visit, and we'll see if that
Oh,
works.
I want to do it so bad.
Yeah. And I was in the States last year a bunch of times, but we just didn't connect. We were obviously not in
Yeah,
the same state, but
yeah, yeah. We're
stuff
gonna go.
happens.
Feels like
Yeah,
we
I
already
know we're gonna meet physically. Yeah,
are.
somewhere.
Yeah,
At some point, somewhere we will. I know that for a fact. But yeah, who knows? Maybe we could do some. I love collaborating with people, right? So, we'll see what we
yeah,
can maybe collaborate, do something together to
yeah, with that.
with our communities. Yeah. And I also want to bring you on the Patreon, like I said, because I
Yes.
think
And
there's a bunch of stuff we can talk about.
the
And we were
podcast.
doing that because I remember I was thinking before we kind of wrap up, I was
Yeah.
thinking that I was interviewing, like Lou and I, my sister and I were taking turns interviewing people
Oh, I
from the
remember that.
community.
Yeah, that's
And
where I heard about Made in Ellie's tram. That's how I even found
correct.
that. Yeah.
Was it my
I think
sister
you
interviewed,
interviewed her,
did I?
didn't you? I swear you did.
I
You
could
did.
have.
It was like 2 years ago.
I feel, yeah, it was a while ago. I thought I had interviewed Erin
Oh, you did interview Aaron.
because I
Okay.
connected a lot with
You
Erin.
did.
Yeah.
It made another.
So
Okay.
let's do that. Let's just bring that back.
Yeah, let's do that. I
Okay.
love those. Oh, that was so much
It was
fun.
so
Yeah,
fun. I
yeah.
love it.
I think
We'll do
they're
that.
really helpful.
That'll be a really good way to get kind of
Yeah,
people talking about stuff
yeah.
and I think I have to bring, like you just reminded me to bring back my group sessions, my family constellation group sessions. I haven't done them in a
Yes,
long
please.
time.
They are
Months and months.
so amazing. Like we would all connect after your session too and be like, hey, like,
Yeah.
ah, it's so nice. Like I'm
Yeah.
such an introvert. I come off very extroverted because I'm very friendly and like I talk a lot and I'm outgoing and I'm excited. Like,
I'm the
but
same
I'm
as you.
so introverted and like secretly shy, but I don't want anybody to know. So I'll be like this all the time. But
The
so
same.
it feels so it feels so nice to be in those groups where like you
Yeah.
and I think especially I had a hard time like with like women growing up and I felt like it was harder for me to make those connections. And now it feels so I'm just like I need more female friends. Like I want women
Yeah,
that
I
want
feel the
a group of
same.
like and it's
Yeah.
so in those containers when you're able to connect with people that you normally wouldn't have run into in the world, it's such a healing, like ugh,
It's
loving
wonderful.
container. It feels so good to connect
Feels
with
so
people.
safe. But also the
Yeah.
community itself, like obviously I'll put the link to the Patreon and everything if anybody wants to join.
Yeah.
But the community
Oh,
itself,
they're
just
so
everyone
welcoming.
is,
So
I feel
sweet and
like I get
supportive,
goosebumps,
encouraging.
literally. I'm just like,
Best community.
how did we all like find each other? Like sometimes it just like
Right?
my mind wants to just like explode. I'm like, how did all these wonderful people who have gone on their own journeys, because everybody's gone to do different things and really honored themselves and really just explore their gifts
The
and really
businesses.
taken like a leap of faith, right? For a lot of people, it's like, well, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And we all kind of give each other that space to do that.
Yeah, and the
It's
community is like a
wonderful.
jumping off point. So many of us joined that community and
Yep.
then found really good friends, started our businesses. Like, oh, that's wild.
100%. Yeah.
Thank you for creating that. Like, yeah, that's it's such a
Yeah. I
nice
feel like I need to put more
way.
effort into it though sometimes. Like it's just there, but you have to feed it. It's like a friendship. You have to feed energy
Yeah,
into it
to
constantly
nurture it.
and
Yeah,
nurture it. Yeah, exactly. But we'll see. We'll see where that goes. But I
yeah,
just want to thank you like for taking the time
yeah.
to come and chat with me. And this is
Thank
going to
you.
be on my channel. It's going to be on your channel because I
Yes.
think that's kind of cool, this whole collaboration that, we can
Yeah,
do
I love
another
this.
video and it can be on both our channels.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking, I think, more about like family constellations in another video.
Oh, for sure.
I'd like you to interview me so that I can just talk about it and like
Yes.
say
Yeah.
everything, and you can
Yeah.
maybe even ask questions that I might not even think of
Well, I'm
because
gonna ask you some
you're like,
questions.
you better get ready.
I have juicy questions already.
Okay, good, good. Because I want to really go deep but I have a hard time just saying like, let me just say everything I need to say. Sometimes it's easier when there's a
No.
back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah, I
do
got
that as like a next video. I think that would be really cool. But
that. I
I'll
love
put all your details obviously on my channel below.
perfect.
And, highly recommend readings with Ashley. She's amazing. She's helped me
Highly
a lot.
recommend Lorena. Yes, all of our details will be below.
And yeah, hope this kind of chit chat that we've had, this back and forth kind of inspires you also if you're leaning into your own gifts or if, you're going through
Everything.
something to really just feel seen, just understand that we're all going through something
Know that you're not
and
alone.
you're not alone. And there's communities like, we
Literally,
all
come
have.
in. Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's go. We'll hold your hand,
Literally.
literally. So yeah. Well, thanks, Ashley.
Thank you,
So
Lorena.
lovely
Love you so
talking to you. I
much.
love you
Bye.
more.